And now it's time for Lloyd's Out of Context 911 Lone Star Clip of the Week.
You all right?
No, there was an accident.
Where's your vehicle?
Down in the ravine.
Looks like you hit your head pretty good there. I'll dial 911. Let them know we're on our way.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay, well, I guess I'll find another ride then.
Looking for some DVDs and some shirts? Well, you could go to a thrift store, or you could visit our archive site, thecinemasnob.com, which has our various original movies and uncut DVD exclusive episodes, plus the link to our t-shirt and mug store on Bonfire, with everything from Lloyd-approved mugs to snob shirts, Saul, and more. Check it out over at thecinemasnob.com.
Really need to make a new ad at the beginning of it. Every time I think I do, I'm like, I'll change it up this week. I'll make an ad for a Cameo or something else, or our Patreon. Which, well, I mean that goes in the show because we do the Patreon polls all the time. But It is. I was like, okay, all right. I've pulled some pictures. I've pulled poll results. I've pulled Lloyd's "What If It Exploded" or 911 Lone Star clip, and then I'm like, I don't feel like making another ad. So the T-shirt and mug store. Visit thecinemasnob.com or whatever. It'll probably be on there next time too. But I had to. It was important that I put up the Lloyd's 911 out of context 911 clip, because as crazy as that scene may be, well, maybe not crazy. You just expect someone is going to get randomly shot in a sequence like that. What's crazier is the context of that whole sequence. And the context of that sequence being, okay, you saw that there was Marjan, the little girl, the guy pulls over, he's going to help him out, and he gets shot. So this was like kind of a two-part episode where it was, a ripped from the headlines type two-parter. This is where Marjan's on a road trip. She happens upon a couple of Instagram like vacation vloggers that are in an RV. They go camping, they do a lot of tourism videos and everything. Then she finds out that this couple, I believe they're engaged, she finds out that the woman is being abused, so she's trying to get her away from the abusive boyfriend. So it's basically 911 Lone Star doing a TV movie of the week on the Gabby Petito case. What if it was a little more like that, and I could pull random out of context clips for my Cat Lloyd's show? But what you didn't see was the twist in that second part. So the episode that came before then, she ended up getting the woman away from the abusive boyfriend. But in the second part, the clip that you just saw, the boyfriend is hunting down Marjan for revenge. And you see that little girl who's with her, who comes from a car accident that happened when abusive boyfriend comes out of nowhere, slams into Marjan's car or motorcycle, I can't remember what, slams into the vehicle. The little girl gets out of one of the other wrecked cars. The two of them are being hunted by this crazy guy throughout the rest of the episode. But what the twist is it isn't quite that the little girl is dead and a ghost this whole time. Now, don't get me wrong. The little girl isn't actually there. Again, ripped from the headlines. The twist is that little, because Marjan's got a concussion because of the whole hit by a car thing, the little girl is actually the spirit of a younger Marjan having survived a car accident about 20 years prior. So her past self has come into the present to give her pointers on how to escape from 911 Lone Star Brian Laundrie. If you thought that just the out of context clips were kind of crazy, You don't know what the full context of these clips are. I couldn't just pull the random ghost clip because you can't sum that up in a 5-second clip. No, just the guy getting randomly shot. That's fine. But when you're watching it, you aren't exactly thinking that it's crazy because they play it so like sincere and kind of comedic, not like comedic to where it's satire or a spoof or something like that, but the show is kind of half comedy. Like it's serious when it needs to be, and then there's like, you know, Rob Lowe talking about shampoo. Like, so it's comedic where it needs to be, serious where it's not. But it plays it all like kind of with a straight face, so when you describe it, it sounds crazy, but you're kind of going along with it. Maybe it just seems fine to me because I watch it on the treadmill, so it's like, it's like Rob. It's the perfect place to watch it. Rob Lowe is inspiring me to get on the treadmill and watch 911 Lone Star. Yes, this is the second one of these we've done in a row. Couple reasons. One, I'm going out of town this weekend, so I am going to put up a midnight screenings tomorrow. Jared and I shot midnight screenings, a review of the Thai Western In a Valley of Violence, the one with Ethan Hawke and John Travolta. And that one was picked over on a Patreon as a Patreon requested midnight screenings episode. I was looking forward to that because that was might have been like the only Thai West movie that I hadn't seen yet. No reason why I wasn't avoiding it or anything like that. I love John Travolta and I dig the hell out of Thai West, so I don't know why I don't know why it was my first time seeing it, but it was. And that review I should be posted up tomorrow. So again, going to be out of town, so I wanted to do an extra stream. And also I wanted to, because I did forget something, and I'm only like being 10% serious right now, as in not serious at all. I did forget something last night when we wrapped up. We had a really good stream yesterday where I tried out the Burger King Spider-Verse Whopper. And if you're spoiler for what the Spider-Verse Whopper is, it's just a Whopper with a red bun and Swiss cheese on it. And it's good because it tastes like I like a Whopper, so it tastes like a Whopper. Had a couple of bites of it yesterday, and then had it for lunch when I was editing earlier. I was editing some more of the 1983 episode, got that posted up for early viewing as well. So, but I did forget something. At the end. When I ended the stream, I reach over, I click stop streaming. The whole time in my head, I was like, something's not feeling right. Am I doing this? Am I hitting a different button this time? Why is this not seeming natural to me? And that's because I don't know why, but I forgot to put the ending bumper at the end of the episode that has the theme from King Frat. And I hope I remember it this time, because that's kind of the most important part. That's kind of the most important part of the show. Maybe I should play it now. Maybe I should play it now in case I forget again later.
Everybody come and join the party.
Yeah, I stopped talking there because I wanted to pay respect to the theme song to King Frat. I don't know why King Frat is one of my favorite episodes that I've done. It just is. I honestly can't even remember a single joke I had from the episode because I don't really rewatch the episodes after I post them. So I haven't seen the King Frat episodes since I edited it. But there's just something about loving the fact that that movie exists, that it is this total Animal House shameless knockoff that is like a movie equivalent of looking at one of the characters' stained underwear from Animal House. Even the poster looks like it, and since the full title of Animal House is called, National Lampoon's Animal House. So in King Frat, I love that they just made up they called it Mad Makers King Frat. That's not a thing. But if you're looking at the poster, you might think it is. Would I have seen that movie in the theater back then? Yeah. Of course I would. It's a low-budget sexploitation movie, so the thing is as gritty as a porn, and a horror porn at that, like hard gore, or like one of those films. But it's a zany comedy about a fart contest for like a half hour of the movie. But I still remember that theme song, even outside of using the ending stinger for the live streams. I just still remember that song. It feels like it's once a week. That theme, well, I don't know who sings it. Whoever it is has a pretty thick Boston accent. I don't know who sings that song, but in my head, I think like it just pops in there. It's catchy. It is in a way that I go see like an Academy Award nominated musical of like the past couple years, or maybe like an Academy Award nominated film that has like a hit song from it, and I might not, like, it might be a good song, but I might not remember it. I go see plenty of new musicals that are out, and the music might be fine, but I won't. I see a lot of movies, so I might not remember it later, but I will always remember the theme song to the Animal House knockoff King Frat. That's from the co-writer of Friday the 13th, by the way. You know, it is like I do say this, where like you got those like college or high school sexploitation flicks that basically are slasher movies, if a killer doesn't show up. You watch something like King Frat, and it would make sense if Pamela Voorhees shows up and just starts killing them left and right. Anyway, if you haven't seen the King Frat episode of the Cinema Snob, I really like it. I don't know, I could go back and watch the episode and just be like, I don't know, maybe I don't like this episode, but that'll never happen because, like I said, I don't really rewatch a lot of my stuff. So instead, I'm just promoting King Frat right now, as opposed to what I should be talking about, the Velveeta Truffles that I have right here that I ordered like a week or so ago. It's a limited edition, only like, I don't know how many of these are. I know that like they were selling it until they ran out. It was like that limited. You had to get in there pretty quick. At least I think so. Maybe there's some more of them now. But I did get in there quick enough to get it. Also, get in your super chat questions as well, because I'll be having some Velveeta Truffles and answering your super chat questions. I do like that Jay Donaldson over in the chat earlier said, is this just part of Laura's pregnancy cravings? You might think so. She's having a pregnancy craving for chocolate and Velveeta cheese. Do they sell both of those together? Yes, they do. You know you're going to get some damn good chocolate, people, when the container is oozing in melted Velveeta cheese. It's like people could come in and just look at the different products that we have sitting on the table, like Velveeta chocolate or icy cereal, which, spoiler of what one of the upcoming episodes of this will be. I did finally get my hands on a box of the icy cereal. That, or, I need a Whopper with a red bun. Looking at all that, they might think like, oh, well, I know what Laura's craving was this week. And no, she still sits in there, having her salads and everything, or like a bowl of chili. I'd have to say to this hypothetical person, no, this isn't the pregnancy cravings that Laura is having. It's for my YouTube channel. Can't you tell I'm going to be a dad? The child will love cheese truffles. I like the container of this. I will say this. Like some things, it kind of doesn't matter if I end up liking the taste of it or not, because I respect this. I have a hunch this will taste like what it's advertised. I don't think it's going to trick me like the mac and cheese gummies that tasted like tangerines. That was one of the biggest disappointments since doing this show. The biggest disappointment since the 30-year-old can of Tab Clear that I got was kind of flat. No, the mac and cheese gummies tasting like orange. I will die mad about that because one of these products will probably kill me. No, I love the packaging. I know I'm getting a product where they put a lot of thought into it when it's like I'm pulling out like a really expensive cigar, but it's cheese truffles. Cheese truffles that are in fact shaped like Velveeta shells. And I got it off with one hand, people. Okay, let me. Maybe I will need Laura's help in there getting this open. They're containing the awesome. It's such a work of art, these things, that it's taken me a minute to crack this open. Maybe I need like a specialty key or something, or a crowbar. Hang on just a second. I wish I had a midnight screenings to cut to right now. Okay, there we go. All right. And there they are. Look at that. That is so beautifully designed. It is like it looks bad, and I dig like shells and cheese, like Velveeta shells and cheese. I do, and this looks like even better. This is like I should put this on display behind me and not eat it. Like I said, I respect this product. This is art right here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm gonna go ahead and eat it. Look at that. This gorgeous little shell that they crafted that is, it does kind of smell like what the pasta smells like before you boil it. They look like, oh yeah, what if I just I'll make a shells and cheese dinner, and this will be the prank. I'll throw it in there. Here, honey, I made you dinner. Are you pranking me again? Yeah. Go ahead, take a bite. It actually works. I don't. Oh, I'm gonna feel bad for eating the rest of these. It's like I want to save one. So, okay. It doesn't just taste like oranges. It's not a cop-out. It's not a fake-out or anything. I dig these for the same reason that I dig the, Van, how do you pronounce it? Van Louis? The French ice cream where they did the, the ranch-flavored ice cream, the pizza-flavored ice cream, the Grey Poupon one, where you can tell they're up for the challenge. Like, their challenge is making this kind of gimmick hybrid between two things that you wouldn't think would go together. Even though I did have a cheese Kit Kat bar one time from Japan. I don't remember if I liked it or not, but I do remember that existing. But it is like with the ranch ice cream, which it wasn't very good, the ranch dressing ice cream, but when I had it, I was like, I feel like they worked to make this the best that it could probably taste. Yes, it tastes like very, very oniony ice cream, but they tried. This is better than that. Like, better example is maybe the Grey Poupon ice cream, which I did like that. It tasted like mustard. It worked well with the caramel drizzle that they had in there. It was good quality ice cream. I dug it. I did finish the rest of it. And this, it is, you got white chocolate truffle with a very sweet and tangy Velveeta cheese with a creamy cheese center. It does know what taste to emphasize. Like, they're not really canceling each other out. That being said, you taste more of the white chocolate in there, which is probably what you'd want to taste more of. But you do taste more of the white chocolate, but it is the kind of like sweetness and tanginess of the cheese, that like that part of it comes out, and you do taste two different things in there, but but it does kind of work. Like it does sort of complement each other. I don't. Someone's asking me how much they were. I actually don't remember. I got it like I think I placed the order for it like a few weeks ago. So yeah, it is this combination of sweet and salty. And sometimes sweet, sometimes that can be iffy for me, depending on what it is. This is one where I'm like, I don't know if I could sit there in the movie theater and eat like a bag of these necessarily, but for what they did, for making this very, very presentable and and cool looking, to be perfectly honest, I like it. I feel like they did a good job. Now it's up to you, Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. You skimped out on the gummies. Maybe you could try again. Or try re-releasing the gummies and have it taste like macaroni and cheese. This is like, it is like Velveeta said, like, it's a big F you to the gummy macaroni and cheese. I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. It was good. I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't, but I'm pleasantly surprised. All right, we'll get to some super chat questions here in a minute. I already see we got a few of them in there, but I do want to talk about the poll that we got going on Patreon. Yes, we have. Let me pull that up. Okay, the winner. The winner of the previous one that we did, not the one that's currently going on, the winner of the previous, we talked about this last night, is Cyborg. So the Cinema Snob episode of Cyborg is up for early viewing now on Patreon. You can see it over there at patreon.com/thecinemasnob. But that poll is old news. You want the new poll that's going on right now. The new poll going on right now at patreon.com/thecinemasnob. We did the drawing for it last night, and the poll is going to end on Monday morning. You got it between these 5 choices. You got the 1981 slasher film, The Prowler, which when I'm so used to the DVD cover of that with the dude in the mask, and he's holding on to the girl. I don't know if I'd actually seen the 1981 poster for it that looks kind of like someone is prowling outside Norman Bates' house. And we have Mr. Sardonicus right there, or as I was saying during the drawing, because I was so confused by my own handwriting. I think I called it Mr. Sardonica once, or Mr. Sardonic another time. Mr. Sardonicus, okay. It's been on the poll before and has lost before, which is ironic considering that the climax of the movie hinges on a poll. And there's Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, the Gary Busey action film Eye of the Tiger, and there it still is, the dramedy Something Short of Paradise. And I've seen what the poll looks like right now. There are a couple, there's 3 of them that are all vying for last place, but the 3 that are vying for last place, they are all above 10%, so I'll give them that. They're above 5 Minutes to Live, which I finished out at 2% last week. So, okay, there's 2 that are kind of not neck and neck to where it's like a difference between 1 or 2%. Like not neck and neck, but the top 2 they are kind of fighting. One has a chance to catch up with the other. So, you got plenty of time to vote on that. You know, it's certainly not over yet. There's some options on there that are close, and who knows, maybe one of the ones fighting for last place could also catch up. So head over there at patreon.com/thecinemasnob. Earlier today, I also posted early viewing for 1983 in film. That's been fun to edit because you notice a lot of things that haven't changed over the years. Like you see those movie trailers nowadays where they're thanking people for coming back to the movie theater, and because like streaming is competing with them and everything, so they're like, thank you for seeing this movie on the big screen. They do that now. They didn't. It's not like they did that a lot in 1983, and well, certainly not about streaming. But there is like kind of an equivalent of that, like at the beginning of the Dr. Detroit trailer, has Dan Aykroyd thanking the audience for going to the movie theater because the competition was VCRs, like home video then becoming a big thing, and big top-loading VCRs, which my dad and I had one of those. The whole family loved our big top-loader VCR, especially our cat Doc, who loved sleeping on top of it. We used to have a towel on it. It was like one of the old Sears top loaders. We had a towel on top of it because it'd get really warm. The cat loved sleeping on it. And, there would be, we didn't have a remote control for it, of course. That was way before then. No, but there was also, we had, if you wanted to rewind it just a little bit, you had to hit stop, then hit rewind. Yes, there was a button on there to just simply rewind or fast forward, but you don't want to hit those because those are secretly the tape-eating buttons. So Dan Aykroyd didn't warn us about that part because he's used to... because if you know his character from Saturday Night Live, he's used to selling some products that might bite off the tip of your hand or make you swallow glass or something like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and get to the super chat questions that we have in there. I've already seen a handful pop up. Come on, load. It's it's like opening cheese truffles again. Okay. This is from Eclectic Ennui, who asks, do you ever attend film festivals like the Chicago International Film Festival? I did once. It was, and I didn't know how big it was when I went, because I went there. I went there to see because I saw there was an invite for an early screening on what was the recent Terrence Malick movie? The one with the dude from Inglourious Bastards. Oh man, I forgot the name of it. I forgot most of it. That's a long movie. But I was like, well, I'll go. It was like a few months before the movie came out, so I went to an early screening of it, and I knew it was a festival screening. I just didn't grasp at the time how big that particular festival is. So I walk in. My buddy Matt Fagerholm is a critic over on RogerEbert.com. He was there, so we were talking a bit, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of people there. And I look over, and I gave Laura a call at one point, and I look over, and I say to my wife, I go, so Michael Shannon and Ryan Johnson just walked by. She's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm at a very big film festival, I guess. So I was talking to my buddy Matt during this, because he was going, there was like a way advanced screening for Knives Out that he was going to, and I was at the Malick film, and he said to me, he goes, oh, you're seeing the Malick film? Oh, I'm so jealous. And in my head, I was thinking, like, do you want to switch? Because I'd rather see Knives Out, honestly. I didn't say that, but I'll have to talk to him to see if he saw that Malick movie. Man, I wish I could. Oh, off the top of my head, I don't remember what the name of that one was. But I remember not caring that much for it. But I'm not. I think the movie of his that I liked was Badlands. That was about 50 years ago. Okay, another question from Eclectic Ennui, who asks, have you seen the Gaspar Noé film Vortex starring Dario Argento? No. Is that like Dario Argento? Is that to Dario Argento what Cat in the Brain is to Lucio Fulci? If so, I'll watch the hell out of that. No, I haven't seen that. I've only seen a few of his movies. I've seen of Gaspar Noé's movies. I've seen Climax and I've seen Irreversible. I feel like there's another one. I liked Irreversible. I liked Irreversible. I liked Climax a lot too. But no, I haven't seen Vortex, but you sold me on it with that minor description. This is from Matt Florent, who says, where did you come up with Bert and Pearl's name? So Bert and Pearl's name, they just feel like a Bert and Pearl. I was going back and forth between Bert and Barry, and then thought, well, Bert. I'll go with Bert. Bert's a good name. Barry's a good name too, but Bert's good. Named after he's gonna be a strong, tough cat because he's named after one of my heroes, Burt Reynolds. And Pearl, we just really liked the name Pearl. It wasn't. I don't think it was because of the movie. Like maybe that was a passing thought, but it wasn't directly named after the Ty West movie. Yeah, Pearl. We just Pearl would be a good name. We were like, oh, that's a pretty name. We really like it, and they both feel like a Pearl and they feel like a Bert. I hope you guys like. I did pull this for shorts earlier too, on a Cinema Snob episode that we posted this week. The one for Revenge of the Ninja. Bert and Pearl have a little scene in that, and I did pull that clip earlier, and I haven't posted anything for shorts in a while, so I was like, oh, that would make a good short. A little 20-second thing with Bert and Pearl there. Danny McGraw goes, hello, Brad. Is it ever difficult choosing what is going to be the stinger for the end of the episode? Good question. Not usually. You can feel it when you're watching it. Something will just stick out. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. You just know it when you know it. You know that, like, that's going to be the stinger right there. And I'll write down what it is. I'll write down the time code. If I get to the end of the movie and I haven't picked a stinger, even that's not terribly hard to pick something. Okay, I'll give you a good example. So it's not terribly hard to do that. I could just go to like a random spot in whatever movie I'm reviewing, and with the kinds of movies I review, it's not hard to go to a random spot and find a line that's kind of funny that can be used for a stinger. So on Cyborg, I haven't made this episode public yet, but on Cyborg, the stinger at the end is, I originally had this clip isolated to joke about in an earlier part of it, but I didn't use it in the earlier part because the flow in what my joke was beforehand and leading into this clip, that there was like no flow. It seemed really unnatural, so I took out that clip of it's of the little girl Haley saying that she wants to be a slinger, and her guardian is like, no, like. So with stingers, you have to see it. You can't really describe it out of context. But I was like, you know what? That'll make for an okay. So I'll use that for the stinger instead, and that's what I did. I don't know what I originally had for the stinger of it. Pretty much any offender's lines can be used as a stinger. It's probably what it originally was. Jacob Matthew Crawford says, hope you have a nice trip, Brad. Me too. I do love going to Springfield. I didn't really like getting COVID when I went to Springfield like a year and a half ago. But other than that, it's nice visiting Springfield. Jacob says, I had a dream where the Rickhead was trying to take over Christmas, like John Lithgow at Santa Claus the movie. What do you think? Potential Jesus Bro sequel? So the Rickhead is the character that David Gobble played in this movie I co-wrote called Jesus Bro. That's like a satire of like faith-based movies. And I that character, the Rickhead, comes from, I did a show some years ago. It was only like a handful of episodes. It was called The Reviewers. There was like a parody vlogger character in it. That's what the Rickhead was. So when I wrote Jesus Bro, I needed a character like that. So I was like, I'll just use the Rickhead character. I've already created that. I really liked the Rickhead character a lot. So adapting him into a movie, that appealed to me. I really liked it. I would do a sequel to I would do a sequel to Jesus Bro. I had idea. I always have those what if ideas. Well, the Christmas movie, the Hallmark Christmas parody I wrote, it's not a sequel to Jesus Bro, but it is a spinoff because the main character is the waitress that Tamara played in the first one. And I always thought it would be like if I did like a parody movie of like a political documentary, which I wouldn't do, but like some years ago I was kind of toying in my head like what if I did something like that, and it would be like the Rickhead starring in like a satire of a D'Souza movie or something. I wouldn't do that now, but a few years ago I was like that would be kind of funny. It never went beyond me thinking it was a funny idea. I also thought too, like if I was ever to do like my own like 80s style friendship melodrama movie like Windy City or something like that, then it would be something that would have like the Rickhead and like Mike Craig character from the Snob movies, some other characters all like coming together for something. This is all stuff that like would never happen, but it's fun to think about. And yeah, him taking over Christmas, that would be pretty fun. That would be funny because it means he didn't learn a damn lesson from the first movie. It's like John Travolta and Staying Alive. Like Tony learned nothing from the first movie. In fact, he's even worse in the second one. Jamie from Mass says Jamie from Mars here. It's so funny you just said that because when I read your name, I was thinking in my head, did I say Jamie from Mars last time? Jamie from Mass just referenced that. Says Jamie from Mars here. My favorite moment of the Snob is your reaction to the sleepaway camp twist. That is a great, but there's like two big memes off the top of my head that came from the Snob. One is me going, "That's a dick," from the sleepaway camp episode. The other, and I see this meme pop up a lot sometimes, of me going, "Sure." Like that's one where it's like you can get a lot of use out of that one. It also asks, what is the worst Brad tries? It says, Batman cereal is Jamie from Mass's guess. Batman it's like I have to categorize them differently because you have stuff like Batman cereal, which tasted good in 89. You know, it was like kind of a sweeter Captain Crunch, basically. And it was delicious. I loved all those Ralston cereals. So that one, yeah, it tasted bad because it was old. But if you had it back then it was good, and it tasted bad. Like it just tasted like a warehouse box of spiders. So there's a couple videos on that. There's one with Doug, Malcolm, I think Tamara maybe tries it, and Rob. Them all. It was when we were making one of the movies that we shot a video of them all trying the Batman cereal. Then I got one Brad tries before then where it was myself trying it. Of the old stuff, the worst one was by far the Reggie bar, the 30-year-old Reggie Jackson candy bar. That tasted haunting. Like I was like disturbed brushing my teeth afterwards and frightened that the taste would never come out of my mouth. Like I was gagging like crazy. I think I might have hurled a little bit afterwards. That one was the worst. But again, it's, the product itself is a bun bar. And that's fine. If you have it and it's not 30 years old, it's fine. Of the stuff that was like bad, like, and new and not old, the ranch dressing soda. Totally. That tasted like just someone drank seltzer water and ranch and vomited it back up with backwash into a bottle, and you drank it. Like that's not even me being cartoonish. It's not me exaggerating. That is actually what it tasted like. And I remember it was me, Laura, and Gino. We tried that, and I had it first, and I'm pretty sure I said it like I just did right now with the backwash analogy and everything. And then Laura tried it, and she is like still to this day has nightmares about it. It's like she says it's the worst thing she's ever had. And when she tried it in that video, she goes, he's not kidding. It really does taste like that. Yeah, it was bad. So those are my worst. James Jarvis goes, oh, okay. Well, he didn't know that Lloyd had passed away. He asks how Lloyd's handled the pregnancy, then followed it up with, I'm sorry, my condolences. No, it's cool. It's fine. But you don't need to apologize. Honest mistake. Lloyd, before Lloyd passed, we knew Laura was pregnant. So Lloyd, he was around her for a little bit when she was pregnant. And he'd curl up with her and everything and kind of lay next to her belly. So he was, it's hard to talk about, I'm sorry. But he knew she was pregnant and everything. So he did get to spend some time there. But sorry. It's hard not to think about, like, oh man, I wish he could have met my son. But I'm glad he got to be there for a little bit while she was pregnant. Andrew Polino says, "Hey Brad, do you miss making movies? If so, what do you miss most and least about the process?" Good question. It says, "Best of luck to you and your family." Thank you very much. I do. I loved making my, like, really quick guerrilla style shot on video, point and shoot, in and out movies. No, I do miss that. I wish I had more time to do it. I do. I have stuff that I have written that I would like to do at some point. It might be a while, but I'll direct another movie again someday. There's one that I was gonna direct a couple of years ago, but then COVID happened and everything, and that got pushed back. It's written, but and I still want to do it because I really like the script a lot, and I'm really, like, gung ho about it and everything. It's this dramedy I wrote that is I did a movie in 2007 that was like, it was an 80s cops and hookers and pimps movie called Midnight Heat. Then a handful of years ago, I wrote this kind of sequel where it's set modern and is about this character that Bianca played in the first one, who was, like, the main hooker in the film. What the sequel is, and I say, like, sequel, like, it's a follow-up. Like, it's this dramedy that is kind of like, what would this character from this sleazy 80s movie thriller, what would this character kind of be up to nowadays? So it's tonally wildly different than that other one, and I really do want to make that movie. I hope I get a chance to, but we'll see. If I'm directing it, it'll be super low budget, so that's not really an issue. What do I miss most and least about the process? What I miss the most is editing and seeing it all come together. Like, you're seeing it be birthed in front of you, this thing that you've lived with in your head this whole time, from writing it, from listening to a lot of music I want to put into it, to then shooting it. And so you're kind of you're seeing what has just been kind of living in here all this time. That's what I miss the most. What I miss the least, probably shooting the movies. Like, that part, I'm always like, I love the writing part of it, the taking notes, all that. Then when it gets to the shooting, which involves, all the scheduling and all that goes into it, and then problems might come up and you got to work around it. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't know how this is going to work out, like that whole thing, and I'm just waiting. Like, it's like I can't wait for it to be done. That part of it, I don't know if I missed that part of it. I mean, I do. Because the whole thing, it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster of things you like, and then big dips and loops and all that. You might get a little queasy while you're making it, but hey, hopefully it turns out okay at the end. Oh, there's a lot. Even when you're making some shot-on shitty movies, it's still a ride. Campbellzilla asks, did you ever see the Michael Cimino movie, The Sicilian? I did. This is it's in the universe of The Godfather, based on the Mario Puzo book. Even although they didn't have the rights to use any Godfather characters in the movie version. Yeah, that I've seen that. It's miscast. I like Christopher Lambert, but he's really miscast in that movie. It's not. I don't remember that one being that great. And I like Cimino. I love Year of the Dragon. Year the Dragon with Mickey Rourke is a really underrated movie. The Cecilia, not so much. Maybe I should watch it again sometime. I don't know if there's a director's cut of it. I know there's a lot of different versions of a lot of Michael Cimino movies. I don't know if that's one of them. Maybe I should watch it again. I haven't seen it since like the mid-90s, maybe. Tiny Terror goes, love the Ninja 2 video. Looking forward to you completing the trilogy in 2030. Right? Says, been a big fan of yours for years. Congrats on becoming Papa Snob. I am going to be Papa Snob. I got one of the slippers right here. It just says bear. It's supposed to say Papa Bear. Where's the other shoe? Damn it. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, completing the. So I did a snob episode some years ago on the Canon film Enter the Ninja, directed by Menachem Golan, starring Franco Nero, Christopher George. Really fun movie, and it's a canon trilogy in that here's 3 movies made by Canon, and they have nothing to do with each other story wise. First couple have Sho Kosugi in them as a different character, but that's neither here nor there. Trilogy. So I forget when I was still living in Springfield when I did the episode on Enter the Ninja. So that's at least been 5-6 years since I did that episode, and then recently just did Revenge of the Ninja because it won a poll. But Ninja 3 is in there as a possible poll choice in the Tox box if that ever gets picked. So who knows, it might be 2030. Or if we're going by timeline of the time in between reviewing Enter the Ninja and Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja 3 might be 6 years from now. It's a greater timeline than the amount of years that's usually in between canon sequels. Is that all we got? Oh, okay, here we go. James Jarvis goes, during your Neil Breen movie reviews where you are asking who the people came in randomly and you said, who the F are you? Ever want to make a shirt? Like, is this like characters randomly showed up in a Neil Breen movie and it cuts to the snob and is like, who the F are you? It's kind of a go-to gag that I do a lot. In fact, I did it. I'd use that joke again, actually, in the Cyborg episode when the adult Haley comes into it. So if you haven't seen Cyborg, there's a lot of flashbacks in it where Van Damme is with a woman. He's a guy to this woman and a young girl. And the young girl is like there a couple times in the flashbacks. You can tell there's a lot cut out of this movie, and that it's kind of strung together in editing because it was taken away from Albert Puyun in editing, post-production, and all that. So it felt like in a lot of the flashback scenes at first, it wasn't like the little girl was there, but it didn't feel like it was heavily focused on that. So she comes back as an adult later on in it. Then I use that gag where it's like, oh, by the way, who's Haley? Because it's like really important when she comes back, but it didn't feel important in the flashbacks. And it's even weirder that when she comes back, the camera's like zooming in on her chest, like what's Van Damme's character's name? Gibson Rickenbacker. Yeah. There's some names in that movie, man. Pearl Prophet, Gibson Rickenbacker, Fender Tremolo. Oh, they're all named they're associated with guitars. I love it. It's a fun movie to talk about. I should make a shirt of that. Eclectic Ennui goes, Tina Turner. I did see this. That's it. Yeah, Tina Turner sadly passed away. Am I a fan of Tommy or Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome? Tommy I haven't seen since I was a kid and the TNT network was showing it. But it's been on my list for a while for Musical March in September episode. With Tina Turner passing away, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should finally do an episode of Tommy. I don't remember what I thought of it when I first saw it. I like the soundtrack. So watching the movie again, that'll be interesting because I don't remember if I liked it or not. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, I liked it better when I saw it way later as an adult. When I was younger, not really. It was too watered down from like the Road Warrior and the first Mad Max, of course. That I don't know. I just kind of missed the gravitas and the grittiness of the other ones, whereas Thunderdome was it was definitely the most big studio out of all of them, which doesn't equal bad, but I didn't watch it a lot when I was younger because I didn't care much for how much more of like kind of not a kids movie, but tamer than Road Warrior and Mad Max. Watching it again as an adult, it was like, you know what, this movie still has a lot of good personality to it, particularly the soundtrack. We Don't Need Another Year is a great song. The soundtrack, Tina Turner's character, the whole concept of the Thunderdome. It's George Miller, so it's certainly a well-made movie. It still has its own unique identity to it that you could remember a lot of lines and sequences from it. That I like it better as an adult. It's not my favorite Mad Max movie, but it is definitely quotable and it's fun. Jamie from Mass, missed the Believe It or Not themed. Did I stop it because of copyright? Yeah, I did. From the I Spit on Your Grave episode, love the scene about how do I review this. Oh yeah, there was a whole sketch that we had in the Snob episode for I Spit on Your Grave that was like, it kind of served as like sort of a follow-up to the Cinema Snob movie before we actually did make a sequel to it. And because I think the Cinema Snob movie, I think I did that not long before I did the I Spit on Your Grave episode. So there's this whole sketch in it that kind of serves as like, yeah, like a follow-up to that movie that has the snob character contemplating on like, how do I review I Spit on Your Grave? I think the episode is kind of like dated in that I'd have no problem reviewing that movie now, but the Snob was it was written way differently back then. It was a different kind of show. That sketch kind of worked for that then, whereas now I have no problem reviewing something like I Spit on Your Grave on the Cinema Snob. But that was we were trying different things back then for episodes. Like the Cannibal Holocaust episode was really like sketch heavy too. That we were trying different things. So it actually would be, I say I'd have no problem reviewing I Spit on Your Grave now, but it would be hard because it would be hard to do a review for that over on YouTube. And as far as Believe It or Not goes, Joey Scarberry song that I used for a lot of years is the theme on the Cinema Snob. Yeah, it was copyright when we moved back to YouTube because when we were on Blip TV, it was the old west on the copyrighted songs we could use, the copyrighted songs that would be in episodes, the length of the clips, even the kinds of movies that would get spotlighted that could never be spotlighted on YouTube. Like it was the old west in terms of what the show was like back then. So yeah, then when we moved back over to YouTube after Blip went away, yeah, I was like, well, I guess I can't use Believe It or Not anymore. I did do a callback to it. It was one of the sequels to 365 Days, where I was using, because the sequels of 365 Days, where they're all just soundtrack and montages with some sex thrown in there every now and then. I was replacing the soundtrack with different TV themes. So I did a little callback. Put a snippet of Believe It or Not in there. I think that's it with there's another one. Okay, Martin Kennedy asks, will you ever do a review of Winter's Tale? That movie is bananas. It is bananas, to quote the William Shatner movie Impulse. He is bananas. It is just Sarah and I had the time of our life when we went to go see that movie. We knew we were in for some gold when there's no context at the beginning and a horse starts flying out of nowhere and Russell Crowe says, "Damn, he found the horse," as if I'm supposed to know what that means. Other than he found the flying horse, I guess. And then Will Smith shows up as the devil, and it's the 1920s, but he's wearing a Jimi Hendrix shirt. A character gets turned into a snowman later on. It's fantastic. Winter's Tale it's a special kind of movie. Yeah, there'll be a review for it. I was holding on to it because I figured that'd be a good crossover episode with like me and Doug. There's like two I'd had in mind for that for a long time. One's Winter's Tale, the other is Collateral Beauty. I thought would make for good crossover episodes. So I don't know if that'll happen this year necessarily. We were talking about doing a crossover on Halloween Ends. So we should. Well, we'll see. We'll see what my schedule's like with the pregnancy and everything. We'll see how much time I have around that time of year, which is around when the baby is due, to talk about and review and do sketches for Halloween Ends. Sorry, honey, got to go talk about Corey Cunningham right now. All right, I'll get on out of here, people. Thanks a bunch for watching, for hanging out with me tonight. I'm remembering it in my head. The let me pull up my screen. It's got the end bumper on it to kick in that way it can end right the way it's supposed to end with the King Frat theme again. Thanks to the Super Chat. Thanks to the Super Chat questions. Great questions, too, by the way. That was all really, really fun to talk about. We'll have Cyborg Cinema Snob coming up on Monday. It is on Patreon for early viewing. And take part in the poll over at patreon.com/thecinemasnob for the following Snob episode after Cyborg. Hope you all have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.
Everybody come